Squared.
Now.
Welcome to Power Squared, Raw and Real. This is episode number 11. I'm M.A. Powers, better known as Matt by my friends.
And I'm JL Powers, better known as Jessica to my friends. I'm coming to you live from California.
I'm coming to you live from Maine. We are the dynamic sibling duo behind Power Squared and also the young adult fantasy series Broken Circle.
Great. Thanks, Matt. So this week we thought we would talk about earliest childhood memories, ours, but also why they might be significant in our lives. So do you have an what's your earliest childhood memory?
I have a couple of pretty early childhood memories. I don't know if they're exactly my earliest. And we'll get philosophical on why you think I have them, but one of them, yes.
Sorry.
No problem.
I had a little cameo appearance from my child this week.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, so do you remember when we used to live in Albuquerque? I think I was probably about 5 years old when this happened. And so that would have made you 7 and Eric 10. All right. So we were going to an elementary school, Oñate Elementary School. And apparently either they were the oldest kids in the school or they were maybe some junior high kids or something in the neighborhood. Anyways, these kids were apparently, the rumors were going around that they would sneak surprise people and throw eggs at them and whip and shave cream them. And it seemed so scary to me, like this big thing. And I'll talk about why I think it was so scary to me. So anyways, there was one day you and me were playing out in the front yard in our cul-de-sac. So there was only one way in and one way out, and we were sitting there playing on the lawn, and we looked down the yard, and we'd just been talking about Eric like trying to run away from them maybe, and he was out, and we were just afraid that we were going to see these Agar slash whipped creamers or shaving creamers, whatever. Anyways, we worked ourselves, I think, up into quite the fright. And we looked down the street and there were 3 guys riding their bicycle up the street, and that freaked us out. And so we ran. I remember we ran into, it was a short cul-de-sac, and so while they were like zooming up the street, we ran into the garage, and then you peeked out and was like, they're still coming. And so we ran into the house and we slammed the door and we locked the door, and then we heard this pounding on the door, pounding, and we absolutely freaked out, like flipped out. We were screaming and yelling, they're gonna get us, they're gonna get us. And Mom came in and was like, what is going on? And we were like, don't open the door, they're gonna get us. And of course Mom just walks over there, and I was like hiding behind the couch, or I don't know what was going on. I was just like, I knew that Mom was gonna open that door and something horrible was gonna happen. Of course, she opens the door and Eric's standing there going, why'd you lock me out, with his 2 friends. So that's one of the memories. One of my earliest memories was just for sure knowing something horrible was going to happen when Mom opened that door, and it turning out to be just our older brother. So that was one. And then the other early
okay, wait, but I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to be the big sister and interrupt real quick, because you're holding your phone and it's like jiggling up and down a little bit. So like if you can hold it steady. Yes.
There we go.
Okay, go. Right. Memory number 2.
So memory number 2, same, Albuquerque, these were my earliest memories. And this other one, I had a friend, his name was Max. I remember him pretty well. I met him at some sort of like church daycare type thing that Mom would drop me off at sometimes. So anyways, he came to play with me and Max, and I, for whatever reason, Mom just let us, I guess, wander around wherever we wanted to go because she wasn't there. So we wandered out the front door. Of course, this is a cul-de-sac again, so really safe neighborhood. But again, we were like 5, so we were just wandering around around the cul-de-sac, and I wandered up to our neighbor's porch, and I'm sure they were smokers. This was probably it was either the late 70s or early 80s, and a lot of people smoked. So there was a box, or it was a match, like there were matches. I can't remember what kind they were, sitting there, and I'd never used matches before, and I thought that was really cool. So we took the matches, Max and I, and we were like, what are we going to do with these matches? Should we try and light them? Like, yeah, we should we should try to light them. So there's two 5-year-old boys wandering by themselves in the neighborhood with this box of matches, and we were like, well, what are we going to light on fire? And we were like, oh, we should light some leaves. And so we walked all the way across the road again, because I was on the other side of the road. We came back to our side of the road, down halfway down the cul-de-sac, and there was a tree. And I remember this tree very well because it would turn purple. It was probably like a purple maple, or no, it wasn't a maple. It had round leaves. Anyways, it would turn this kind of dark purplish color, and all the leaves had fallen on the ground. So we made a pile of leaves, and we were lighting our matches, and we kind of knew it was wrong, kind of not, but we were lighting the matches. We actually got them lit, and we were going to light these leaves. And that's when Mom showed up behind us and flipped out, like obviously you would, like just flipped out. And then I was just like, oh, I should have been doing this. And so Max and I were kind of in trouble, although I just felt really ashamed, like, oh, I should have known not to do this, and yet I was doing this, like, and just really, really ashamed. And then when Max's mom came, and this must have been hard for Mom, knowing now what being a parent, but then she told Max's mom what we did, and I thought she was telling her to be like kind of to punish Max and me again, by telling somebody the thing that we did wrong. But really now in retrospect, she was just being like, I didn't know what the kids were up to. Or that must have been a hard thing to say. And they found some matches, and they were going to light the neighbor's house on fire with the leaves. And, that could have been a real disaster. So anyways, those were my two earliest memories.
Do you remember what Max's mom did?
I don't.
Did you play with him again after that, or did that end your...
Well, that's a good question. I don't ever remember playing with him again, but we moved pretty quickly after that. So we certainly could have played again. I don't remember.
Well, I have to confess that I do remember you getting in trouble for playing with matches, but I didn't remember any of the other details. And then that earlier memory, the other rumor that went around the school was that these guys would rub you with something that made all your hair fall out.
No, I don't remember that.
Particularly scary. And Eric, right, our older brother, had actually gotten caught by them and egged.
Oh, I didn't know that. So.
And he came home and he had egg all over him. And that happened, I think, before what happened with us. And so,
right.
So we it had already happened to one of us, right, that they had been caught. And so that was sort of doubly terrifying. But that rumor that they would rub you with something that would make all your hair fall out, that was a really scary rumor.
Well, and I think one of the reasons why all this stuff that particular story was so frightening for us was we were living in the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. And this was when all the rumors started flying around about, people lacing candy at Halloween with razor blades or with poison of some kind. And then there was the you could get kidnapped and don't take candy from strangers. That was when all that stuff was going on at school big time, right? And then also Mom would tell us never talk to strangers, never get into a car with a stranger, which is good. I mean, that's what we tell our kids now, but there was this pervasive fear going on. And that was right when also the rumors were going around, which I don't think have ever really been, which I know never were confirmed, but they were big within the religious societies that we were at, that there were Satanists out there and that they would do all these horrible things to you. And they were out there, and they were, all they wanted to do was evil, and they just wanted to find innocent people and do evil to them. So that was very frightening.
Kill children,
petrified,
kill cats and children.
For most of my childhood was just being really, really frightened. And I think it was partly the culture we lived in, and society having to change from being maybe more open to being a little bit more wary, for good reasons too, for real reasons. So I think we hit it right at that time.
Well, and what's interesting to me is that the two memories that you have, really, one is about fear, which of course you're going to remember a really terrifying moment, even though it ended well.
Right.
There, why'd you guys lock us out? And then the second one, that deep shame. Like, so,
Right.
I do wonder, why do we remember the things that we remember? Our earliest memories, but also just anything that we remember. And I'm sure it has something to do with some deep emotion attached to it, as well as obviously, things that were consistent, that were a regular pattern. I'm sure, like, I don't know that there's any deep emotion to it, but I do remember, and my dogs are going crazy. I remember like the tile in the bathroom, because it was a very 70s, I'll be there in a second, kiddo, a real 70s like curly Q pattern.
Yeah.
And like I would follow the pattern, and it just seemed very detailed. And so, and I think we're gonna have to end this soon because my child needs me.
Sorry. And I am potty training a child, so yes, something will definitely interrupt us soon.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, anyway, so my child is definitely calling me and saying he needs me. I'll be there in a second, kiddo. So we'll end this early today.
We can hear about your earliest memories next week.
That sounds like a plan. Thank you for joining us at Powerssquared, Raw and Real, episode 11. Visit us at powerssquared.com.
Bye.
Bye.